I'm Eric Mattei from matteirealty.ca. We're now at the third and final episode of this installment of reviewing the major documents that get you to an offer. So we discussed buyer agency, listing agreement, both were designated. Now the big kahuna, the agreement of purchase and sale. Keep in mind there's agreements for condominiums, for pieces of tiered land, for all types, commercial, all types of different real estate. What we're discussing today is just a plain agreement of purchase and sale for residential property in Ontario. And if I didn't say it before, these are Ontario forms. They're actually the Ontario Real Estate Association forms that we're looking at. So if you live in a different province, the forms may look slightly different to you. All right, so agreement of purchase and sale as it's applied, Ontario Real Estate Association, all the forms are numbered. This is Form 100. Every offer has a date it was written. Okay, just to be clear, buyer and seller itemized, as is the address, the side of the property it's on, east, west, north side of the street, what city it's in, the frontage, and whether or not it's feet or meters is critical as well. So you'll also get here the legal description, which should be quite clear. If it's too long to fit in here, the agent should add it to the schedule. There's the purchase price as well. Deposit amount, I always write as otherwise described in the agreement. Generally, if it says upon acceptance, it means that once you reach an acceptance, the deposit has to be given. If it's herewith, that means it comes with the offer, as otherwise is the right way to go, because then it gives you a day or so to come up with the deposit, which is payable to the brokerage listed here. Now, I've done an episode on this already, but I want to be clear. Deposit is due usually within 24 hours of acceptance. However, keep in mind this is not your money. It's not either agent's money, and it's not the seller or buyer's money. If something goes wrong, there's only several ways this comes out. One, a successful completion of the agreement. Two, a court order, which nobody wants. Or three, a mutual release. So the common misnomer is that, oh, the seller takes my deposit if I walk away. No, that's usually what's negotiated if you cause a breach in the agreement as a way for you to leave. But you should be made aware right now that if they sell the property for $100,000 less and they don't sign a mutual release and release your funds, they can come after you for the difference. Okay, just to be clear. Schedules are listed here. Offer has to be valid like a fruit until a period of time, just like the other two contracts had an expiration date. This would be either good by the seller or the buyer. That's why it's an agreement of purchase or sale. Okay, so if I'm a buyer sending it, I'm sending it and the offer is valid until X amount of time on a given date. Closing dates listed here. Couple things. No Saturdays, no Sundays, no stat holidays. Lawyers and banks don't work on those days, and vacant possession is implied. Okay? You can send things electronically. Anything you want included better be listed here. If you want a dining room table, put it here. It's critical that there's a full comprehensive list or you're out to lunch otherwise. Exclusions should be listed here to protect both parties from confusion, as any rental items, and generally the amount of the rental items for resale property should be included in. For HST, commercial properties generally it's in addition to. There could be HST on chattels. Okay, that's not included in the purchase price. Sometimes that'll happen with cottages if you include a boat or something like that in the agreement. Title search is the requisition date, which allows the lawyer to check to make sure there's no major liens or encumbrances. Lawyers will often tell you to get title insurance, which protects you from major issues on title. The type of property that's inclusive here would be single-family residential. The seller's not giving you any warranty as to what you can do with the property after you buy it. So if you make it into a triplex and it's illegal, too bad for you. You're getting free and clear title with the exception of any utilities or things the seller can't remove. These two clauses are how the lawyers basically arrange for closing to put a new charge on the property. If you don't have a condition on inspection, this covers to say that you knew you could have gotten it. And sellers, listen up. Do not cancel your insurance on the day of closing. let it go after closing, then cancel in case there's a delay, because you're responsible to keep that insurance. Property must comply with the Planning Act. You must be a resident of Canada as a buyer, and the seller, because if not, there's a fairly heavy income tax, excise tax that's involved. Adjustments is important. So what that means is if there's an additional cost on closing for a fuel oil tank or the seller paid their taxes up front, what'll happen there is that'll be added to the purchase price as an adjustment on closing by the lawyers. Property assessment, you can't sue the seller if the taxes go up. Guess what? They never go down. Thank you, Olivia Chow. So that's just stating the obvious. Time should always prescribe to the deadlines inherent in the agreement, the Canadian funds only. If this is a family dwelling, the spouse should consent if they're not in the agreement on title. Urea formaldehyde involves the spraying of urea formaldehyde in the exterior walls in the 80s. It's kind of like radon gas and lead paint in the States. It's a major disclosure here because the government was involved in screwing people over by giving them a tax credit and then giving them $3,000 to remediate a, I don't know, $100,000 job at the time. So that's why you see that there. We don't offer legal, accounting, or environmental advice, so you will get a home inspector, talk to an accountant or a financier and a lawyer. This was critical, 26. So this is the whole agreement. If you have something on the side with the seller, you are out of luck here if it's not in the agreement. In addition, anything added to the schedules, well, those things supersede these standard clauses. E-signatures are allowed. Time and date is where the property is located. God forbid if either party should pass, their estate follows through. And here, if there's a shortfall between the deposit and the commission, the seller directs their lawyer to pay that commission. Tenants match page, buyer signs when they send it, seller signs when they receive it and send it back. Whoever is the last hand to accept it, it confirms acceptance. And then both parties have to sign for receipt of communication of an acceptance. Now the Schedule A, B, and C, these are all the particular clauses the different agents will add. But when the deposits due, how will the funds be paid? Are there any conditions or warranties? So this is what we call the meat and potatoes pages of the agreement. There could be a number of schedules, including surveys and things of that nature. Okay, so that was the agreement of purchase and sale, one of several types of agreements of purchase and sale in Ontario, but that gives you a general understanding of the nuts and bolts of the agreement, which you should know because they are a part of the agreement and they do have just as much an effect as the price and the closing date, believe me. If you have any more questions, you can always reach us at info@matteirealty.ca. American Mattei, have a great day.